wizard.
Hi, I'm Everett Abrams, the Wizard of Wood, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about sandpaper, choosing the right sandpaper, and working on different types of wood. So the first thing I want to talk about is we have cedar and pressure treated here. Cedar is one of the 10 softest woods there are. So it's very, very soft. So when it comes to how we treat the wood and how delicate it is, we can cause a lot of issues with it. And the big thing we're talking about today is fuzzing of wood and how it fuzzes up. Now, when wood grays, some of those wood fibers gray, they will come off the wood when we go to restore the wood. But sometimes you'll get some natural fuzziness to the wood. So that can happen. And in that case, usually what we do is we will go back and we want to get rid of those fuzzies. We can either use an Osborne brush, which you can refer to some of our other videos about Osborne brushes, or we can use sandpaper. And a lot of people will sand a deck. Pressure treated pine is also soft. Pine is a soft wood. However, it's a little more dense than cedar, so this takes a little bit more. So where I'm going with this is, a lot of people try to, you've heard me refer to the square peg and the round hole, they try to do that. They try to put everything into like one formula, and there's different formulas for different types of wood. So that's what I want to talk about. So I'm going to set these over here for a second and come back to the wood, but now I want to talk about the sandpaper. All right, here we have the 20 grit sandpaper, and you can see how it's very, very coarse. Very coarse, okay? And this is used for stripping off coatings and stains and so forth off of wood. Now, this 20 grit will remove a coating, but then we're probably going to have to, because it's going to rough it up, we'll probably have to come back over it with the 100 grit sandpaper, which I'll show you in just a moment. So what happens is 20 grit is for removing the coating, okay? Now, that 20 grit works really good on the pine. On the cedar, if we have to take coating off, we do, but we want to be careful when we come back over these, because with the next one up from 20 is 36 grit. And if you compare them, you will see there's a big difference. This is much more coarse. This is still coarse in comparison to the others, if you can see the difference. It's more coarse. This is 36 grit. 36 grit will strip off better on cedar than the 20 without fuzzing it up much. This is going to cause a lot of fuzzing. So if I were to strip a coating off, I'm more likely to use the 20 grit on the pine and the 36 on the cedar. If there's a really heavy coat, I might use a 20 no matter what the wood is. But 36 will remove a coating from the cedar pretty easily. Now, if we're going to go out and we're just going to, typically we've got some fuzziness on the wood and we're just going to get rid of the fuzzing and so forth, we want to be careful what we use, because I can use, the next one is 60 grit. And 60 grit in comparison is much smoother. And what happens is 60 grit on cedar, especially if it's already fuzzy, is going to fuzz it up even more. It's going to create fuzzing. And you're going to sit there and think, hey, what am I doing wrong? And I get these phone calls or these videos and pictures and so forth. People send them in and say, hey, I got fuzzing on the wood. I was told to sand it. I got 60 grit and it's not going away. It just seems like it's fuzzing up more. Is there something I'm doing wrong? They think it's either the wood or something they're doing wrong. It's actually the sandpaper. So in those cases, you want to go to a 100 or an 80 or 100, but 100 grit, never go higher. So we use 100 grit to finish with. If we're just getting rid of fuzzies, just the 100 grit. If this is hardwood and we're just trying to smooth it out a little bit, 100 grit. Don't go over 100 though, because then you smooth the surface shut and it won't accept the stain as well as it should. So 100 grit keeps it open enough that you're still going to be able to apply the stain afterwards. So anyway, my point is through all this is, depending on what type of wood and what you're actually doing to the wood is going to determine the grit of sandpaper you're going to use. 20 grit will remove a coating. 36 grit on cedar will remove a coating better than the 20 without creating a lot of fuzzing. If we're going to pine, 20 grit, come back over with the 100. But you can use the variations of sandpaper. The reason we have 20, 36, 60, and 100 is because we use these in the different scenarios depending on the wood, whether we're removing fuzzies or we're removing coatings. And that's wood restoration. And that's what you need to know. It's not just one type of sandpaper. It's not just everything fits the same type of wood and so forth, because everyone's going to be different. If you have more questions, please leave them in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. Again, I'm the Wizard of Wood, Everett Abrams. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.